today we're going to do an introduction to squaring, and I have some materials here. If you have any questions, you can type them. Hi Berke, hi Zara. If you have any questions, you can type them in the comments below, and then I'll try to answer them as I see them come up. In a little bit, I am going to move my camera down, so I won't be able to see my phone screen, but hopefully I have it up on the laptop as well, so hopefully I can see your questions in a little bit. So let's get started. Alrighty. So what I found out while I was fiddling with a Facebook Live is all of my numbers are going to end up being backwards. So please bear with me. I did practice writing some of the numbers backwards a little bit. Here we have a short chain is what we call it in the Montessori terms of the 4. In any primary and elementary classroom that you'll go into, you'll see a bead cabinet which has the beads 1 through 10 all lined up, and the numbers are color coded. 1 is always going to be red, 2 is always going to be green, then we have 4 is always yellow, and it goes all the way to 10, which is always going to be gold. Today I have the short chain with me for the 4s. So in the primary, the children typically start first with just counting the short chain. So it may look like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And they'll repeat this with many chains. Here I have a 6 chain with me also. Maybe by now they can skip count. So 6, 12, hi Nikki, thanks for joining. I'm working on the 6 chain now, and I know the screen is a little bit mirrored, so if you see the numbers are a little bit backwards, I apologize for that. So I'm skip counting. We've done 6, 12, 18, next would be 24, 30, and 36. And the children work on this in the elementary classroom as well as in the primary classroom. The next step to this would be to introduce to them the term exponent and what it means about to square a number. And they do actually use the word squared in the primary, and that looks like this. So I'll show you what they do in the primary first. Let me move these numbers out of the way. So we'll start with the 6 chain. So in the primary, the children are introduced to the concept of squares, and we show them that they can fold up the chain to make a square, and we just call this a 6 square in the primary. And the children work with the chain so much that by the time they really know they're skip counting, or they see the short chain, they know this is 36, and so they know that the square is also 36. And this is really important foundation for them in the elementary, but if they don't get it in the primary, they definitely will practice this in the elementary as well. So let me show you how we would introduce this in the elementary, the term exponent. Today I'm going to show you something new. Here I have the short chain of 6. We can see that the beads are in groups of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And there are 6 groups. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And when I fold this chain up, if you will cooperate, you can see that we have a 6 square. And I know this is a 6 square because there are 6 on all sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And here I have another 6 square. This is a fixed 6 square. I can put this on top to show you that they are exactly the same. There are 6 rows of 6. And we call that the square of 6. It is also called 6 squared. And this is how you would write 6 squared. The floating 2 comes from 2 factors, and that's what forms the square, these 2 factors of 6. The floating 2 is called an exponent. We know that 6 times 6 is the same thing as 6 squared. And that equals 36. I went from writing mirrored for you all and writing normal. Let me see if I can write that the other way. And there you have it. There are many ways that children can practice this. We also would invite them to do another chain. So here I have a 4 chain that they could fold up and use the fixed square that way. There's also the free bead bars that they could use. So here we have 4 taken 1 times, 4 taken 2 times, 4 taken 3 times, and 4 taken 4 times. That's the same thing as a 4 squared, which the children could write. Like so. Hi Sandy, thanks for joining us. We miss you. One of my favorite ways to practice this work is by using these blank 10 squares here. They can work, they can color in just the square that they're working on. So we did 6, and I just went ahead and colored this in to save some time. I like to use the same color that the squares are. So I can show you here, I already did this. I cut out the 4 square and wrote in how the children would write this on their paper. And they can glue this down. They can also make a beautiful poster using construction paper and making these squares. They can use the actual squares in the grids to make their squares. So instead of using the dots, the children can go in and color 6 squares across, 6 squares down, and make their 6 square that way and make a larger square. The size of the square that you give them will give them different sizes of their follow-up work. So some children really like to make small, teeny tiny work, and some children like to make really big work. So if you can give them really big squares or grid paper, they can make a really large square, and that's really appealing to young children. I know, the mirroring is a little bit hard, and I'm still trying to figure out how to use the phone and my laptop at the same time. This makes it so much easier for me. I remember when I did my training to be a Montessori teacher, and I saw that the square is an actual square and a cube is an actual cube. It just blew my mind, because these were just numbers that we had to memorize when I was younger. You just had to remember all of your squares and all of your cubes. and it wasn't a visual thing. And here we have these beautiful glass materials that the children can hold, feel, count. It's color coded, so sometimes the children think in colors. I know, I'm really glad that I had the chance to learn this in my Montessori training, even though I didn't get to learn it as a child. Thank you, Aubrey, for joining us. That's all that I have to share with you today. If you have any questions, you can post them in the comments below, and I can go back and answer those questions. Next week, on Thursday at 5, I'm going to do this again, and we're going to continue with squaring and maybe doing some cubing as well. And if there's something that you'd like to see, go ahead and type it in the comments below, and then if I have the materials, I can work on it. And if not, maybe I can head over to the school and grab some of the materials. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope to see you all next time.